Is America going to get involved on offense in the war between Israel and Iran? Check out this clip over here with American General Jack Keane, who's talking on Fox News. He talks about his discussions that he's had with the president, his assessment of the situation, what he believes we should do. So let's watch this together and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
Is four-star general and head of the Institute for the Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, thank you so much for being here. I thought that was pretty stunning that you heard from Roger Marshall that Iran was that close, a week away. How would you assess Rising Lion and this operation?
Yeah, well, certainly it's very impressive. You know, Israel continues to surprise us with the things that they can accomplish. But it's also pretty fundamentally a military operation pretty similar to how we would approach it. The first thing they did is took out and gained air superiority. They still had some air defense systems of their own, 4 different types from 50 kilometers to 300 kilometers in range. They're all gone. The Iranian fighters have never challenged Israeli fighters. They know it's no contest. They don't even make an attempt. So Israel can fly any place in Iran unimpeded. They have air superiority. They took down these leadership targets in a brilliant operation. You know, when they fired these missiles into these apartments, they did it all simultaneously because they didn't want any warning that people could bunker. And they were avoiding that. And so to be able to achieve that means that they're inside Iranian security services. Their covert operations have penetrated that, and we've known that for a number of years, given all the other covert operations that they've been so successful at. And then the center of gravity certainly is the nuclear enterprise itself and the ballistic missiles that are now raining on Israel. The nuclear enterprise, Maria, is a very complicated target. It would be a complicated target for the United States. It's spread out in excess of 12 sites. And to deal with every one of those sites is a campaign almost in itself. And the Natanz facility, the most prominent and the largest one, has been severely damaged. The Isfahan facility, another one, is in progress of being severely damaged. They're working extensively on it. They have significant amount of enriched uranium. Now, what the Iranians do, and they're smart about this because they knew at some point they're likely going to be attacked, they spread out their centrifuges at multiple sites, and they spread out their enriched uranium at multiple sites. So it's not, there's no easy target to go down and take 1 or 2 sites. They haven't hit the Iraq facility at all yet, and Fordow, which is deeply buried a half a mile into the ground, is clearly a major impediment and obstacle for the Israelis, given the depth of that target. So the majority of Iran's nuclear enterprise is still intact. That's the message. That means we're in the early stages of a campaign here. This is not a 1 or 2, 3-day limited attack. This is a campaign that we're watching unfold before our eyes. And the other target that Israel is reaching out to is energy targets. That means oil and gas, and they're hitting both of those now and likely to be expanded. So that's the target set that Israel has. They're not targeting the regime. They could literally take the civilian leadership down, I believe, if they wanted to. I think they have hands off of that, and they do not want to martyr that leadership and have all of those proxies consolidate once again to come after Israel, given the passion and fuel that would be energized by taking down the supreme leader and his cohorts. I think that's a good decision. I know other people would like to see that happen, but you got to think through the strategy and what the implications of that are.
This is incredible information that you're giving to us, General. Thank you. I want to get back to what you mentioned on the Fordow nuclear site, which is the nuclear facilities that are deep underground in Iran. What is the danger of attacking and trying to get at that nuclear site underground? The danger in terms of the environment, and what is the U.S.'s role? I know that you've spoken with President Trump this weekend. What should the U.S. be doing in terms of supporting Israel's attempts to get at that very significant nuclear site underground called Fordow?
Yeah, sure, certainly. Well, my conversations with the president are his conversations once I begin that, and I don't discuss those. But I think the U.S. role right now certainly is appropriate. We have provided intelligence. We've been providing logistics and munitions to the Israelis, ever since the conflict started back in October. And when President Trump came in, he removed the restrictions the Biden administration had put on munitions that Israel needed. And obviously, those munitions are being used in this operation. So thankfully, they have what they need to have. And if they need more, they'll get more. The United States is all in on that. And certainly, we're taking up a very defensive role to help deal with the ballistic missiles. The ballistic missiles is a complicated enterprise. That is the only system that they have that can now hurt Israel. These drones are irrelevant. It 8 hours to get there. Ballistic missiles, on average, 11 minutes. And ballistic missiles have, significant accuracy depending on the quality of that particular missile. In October, they fired 200 at the Israelis, and 40 penetrated. Not a lot of public recognition of that because the Israelis were very concerned. Those missiles fell in the desert near Air Force bases and the Mossad headquarters. One person killed, not much damage.
Okay.
This target is very, very complex in terms of what they're dealing with. I also think dealing with the Fordow facility, I believe if Israel is asking for penetration bombing, we should give them penetration bombing so they can complete the damage and destruction of this nuclear enterprise. We should not leave that site intact so the Iranians can recover and rebuild. That will be their objective, and we should take that off the board once and for all.
Understood. General, great to see you. Thank you so much for your insights, as always. Four-star General Jack Keane.
So when it comes to the whole America First movement, President Trump was actually asked about this when it comes to the U.S. getting involved in Iran in any particular way. President Trump responded that he coined the phrase America First. Nobody was really talking about America First before he came on the scene. And he said that how can you have America First if you have an evil regime like Iran that's constantly threatening the United States, wants to acquire nuclear weapons, and then says in the same breath, death to America and death to Israel. And that as soon as we eradicate the little Satan, Israel, we will go to the big Satan, America. How can that not be America First by dismantling their nuclear capabilities? Now, I'm not for America being involved in a boots on the ground sort of way, just with moral support and giving them the green light. Let Israel do what it's got to do. But how is that not America First? America First, as has been said many times, does not mean America only. It means putting the interests of the United States first. And Israel should operate as Israel first. And Israel is operating as Israel first by going after Iran. Happens to be that many other nations, Western nations and Arab nations, benefit from a denuclearization of Iran. It was tried for the last few months not to have to do any sort of military involvement. There was all sorts of deals on the table and stipulations that were constantly being rejected by the Iranians. And now Israel's taking care of what they need to take care of because Israel should do Israel first. America should put America first. Many times, what the American needs are and what the Israeli needs are coincide with each other, and they can work together in various ways. Sometimes they don't, and that's okay as well. And I think the president should assess what our involvement should be, if any, and what that looks like, maintaining obviously the America First mentality. But how can you say though that it's not America First to have the destruction of the Iranian regime, or really the Iranian nuclear capability? That is really the heart of all of this. And I'm not sure I understand those that are thinking differently than that. This is something that literally everyone of good faith and good nature benefits from. The entire West benefits from this. Half the Arab world is secretly rooting for this. And so what exactly is the downside of Iran not having nuclear capabilities? If you I love to hear suggestions and ideas. If you have something, you can leave it down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.